Well guys, welcome back to the channel. The day is finally coming. I can reveal to you the project. Matthias, Scania USA, Scania, everywhere. And I have been working on this massive, massive project to build us a brand new Scania R770. I've teamed up and we are building a media truck to ship to the USA. I'm super pumped about this. We're on the assembly line. We've spec'd this thing. It's gonna be a 6x4 configuration. Like I said, 770R. It's gonna be really cool. We're gonna follow this frame right here behind me from start to finish. It's already been painted, so we kind of skipped that process. But yeah, I'm pumped, guys. We've got a GoPro time lapse right here rolling. This thing's gonna follow this chassis down the entire assembly line until from start to finish. I'm just so excited. It's like hard for me to get everything into one sentence and just get all my words right because this is like an incredible opportunity. I do want to start out saying right now, I will not be owning this truck. It will be owned by Scania. I've kind of been made an agent of the company so that we can operate and do things within the USA eventually. We're still waiting on some approvals, but we're getting the truck built. I've spec'd it as close as possible to the Americans, in a way an American Scania would be. So let's follow this thing down the assembly line. They're about to roll it into the assembly line and it's about to start making its way down. And between today and tomorrow, we're gonna see axles and cab go on this thing and drive it out the door. So this right here is what they call an ebony black frame. And I love how they paint the frames before they put everything in it. So this frame looks beautiful. And then all the components will start to go inside this thing as the trip moves on. So this thing is on rollers. It's about to get pushed right over there in just a moment, get picked up by the frame hoist and start getting all the components bolted in. So super excited. We'll get lots of people to thank throughout the video, so we'll be doing that shortly. So I'm not completely sure of everything that's going on here, but they're starting to install some lines and stuff inside of the frame and tightening up some hoses. I'm not going to pretend like I know everything that's going on, but special cables here holding everything up. Like I said, the guys, that time lapse is rolling. We're going to see everything get built. But I want to talk about how quiet it is here in the shop. So no one's wearing hearing protection. There's simply no need to, just because of how quiet everything is. This is going to be a long video. So this is the guy that's made everything possible. How does it feel?
Well, this feels really amazing, Bruce. But I think you did a lot yourself.
No, it's bittersweet though.
Really?
So Matthias has been my contact with Scania from day one.
Yeah.
And without you, none of this would be possible.
Yeah.
So.
Don't make me cry, Bruce.
I am a little bit. So we've got our frame right here coming down the line.
Yeah.
Going to the US.
Yeah, what's going through your head now?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna make me cry a little bit. So lots of hard work, lots of, I don't even know the amount of work you put in. A lot.
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah, so can't thank this guy enough for making this possible, guys. I'm excited. Yeah.
Super. That's what I want to hear.
Yes. All right, we were through that emotional moment. Lots of things are going on. So we've got shock brackets going on. There's some transmission mounts that are being bolted up on the front. And since this is the 2.3 meter cab, there's a few different mounts that are special for this truck, including the transmission mounts and things like that right here, and the shock brackets also. So quite a few different things are happening with this frame because of the different cab. All right, we got lots more stuff going up here in the front I forgot to even pay attention to. So lots of airlines, fuel piping. It looks like the steering box got installed. And all this time while I was working, wow, that is a monster. So it looks like it has some electric over hydraulic steering also. Maybe a lane keep assist going on there, but things are piling on really quick in a matter of, guys, it's literally been like 5 minutes and things are changing so fast. You guys know exactly what they're doing on this assembly line. So obviously air ride front axle, air ride everything, front and rear. Oops, sorry. So I'm trying not to get in everyone's way. Looks like we've got a cooling pipe that runs down along the back, and I think that goes to the retarder to keep the retarder nice and cool. I'm just pretending I know what I'm talking about, so bear with me. So right now, guys, the factory is shut down. Everybody's at lunch. It's a lot quieter in here. We're walking to go find the cab of the truck, but we just seen some battery packs here. You can see for the battery electric trucks, BEV as they call them, battery electric vehicles. So right now we're walking to the other end of the factory to find the cab, because a lot of the assembly that's going to be happening for the truck is not something that's crazy interesting, but we'll be back to it, you know, very, very shortly. But let's go find the cab of this thing. So as we're walking, this is the final assembly line. This is what we visited last time we were here. Still lunchtime. We're walking outside to find the cab. You can see quite a few trucks on the final assembly. Look at that, we found it. Amber's not excited. This is so cool. So there's our truck number 4397. We found the cab. Oh, I love the color. What do you like? The coffee maker?
I was gonna say, yeah.
I ordered that just for you.
Did you really?
Yeah, look at the beautiful paint. Oh my goodness, I can't wait to see it out in the sun. So this is the CR23, so it's got the cab extension here, so makes the bed much larger. And when they do the, I guess I should back up some so people can see it. There we go. So the cab extension adds a lot more bed space on these trucks. So this is custom made in Luxor, where we visited last time we were in Sweden. So the cab extensions that go on the cab will cover all of this up. And yeah, wow. Look inside. This is really cool.
Get that one out. We're playing Luxor for it.
Yeah. All right, here we go. We don't know if we can open it or not, but we are. Check that out. The dash. This is the first of its kind. Look at this. Look at that. A Scania with MPH. Mile per hour. Very nice. Look at the steering wheel. Oh my gosh. Hand stitched everything. Wow. It smells brand new. The seats. I just want to rip it all off. Look at the bed though. The bed is huge back there. It's a lot bigger than it looks from the outside, no doubt. Wow. I want it now. This is gonna be so awesome.
Did you get the red on
The red stitching and everything? Yeah, yeah. I don't know why the lighting is so bad. There we go. Like it's got a sunroof.
I know, it's like
Oh. So it's not really a sunroof. Those are basically like mandated by European countries for an escape hatch. So if you wreck, climb on the top. But it also opens electronically too, so really big deal. This is awesome. I just can't wait to see it out in the sun and see the color of the paint. It looks really nice. It's a little bit darker blue than what we usually mess with, but wow, this is so nice. Oh my goodness, look at all the keys, We've got all kinds of buttons on this keyless unlock. Wi-Fi and lights. Check out that key. Coffee maker. But the coolest thing, guys, hands down, is that mile per hour right there. That's a really big deal. So this may be the only time we get up close and comfortable with the cab while it's not on the assembly line. So just wanted to look at everything on this thing structurally. I mean, this big bar in the front is a massive, massive sway bar. So, you know, back in the 80s and 90s, Ford had a cab over setup that had air ride front and rear, but it swayed a lot. And the problem is it didn't have these big sway bars to keep the cab from jumping all over the place. So super, super stable cab system in here. I opted for the electric cab jack, so it's gonna be in here somewhere eventually. It is the R cab. We decided to go with a lower roof simply because we're gonna need to trailer it some while it's in the US. So that was a hard adjustment, but it was something that had to be done. And since we went with the bigger sleeper back here, big bed. I mean, really big bed. This is the same size bed that was in my other trucks that were brand new. So, but the biggest thing, like I said, is mile per hour, guys. We ordered this truck to drive in the US of A. So That's our sneak peek of the cab. All right, guys, so it's back over here in the chassis shop. A lot of things have changed. I wouldn't say a lot, but lots of wires and things have been added. And as you know, with any heavy-duty truck, especially a big semi-truck, obviously, there are lots and lots of airlines, and they have got lots of airlines hung on this thing already. So, starting at the front so far, we're only like a 16th of the way down the assembly line so far. Steering gearbox is already here. We've got like the oil fill system right here. Lots of stuff going on up here in the front. More cooling pipes. This looks really kind of scary, I think, to a lot of people when they see all this stuff, but everything just makes sense when you see how it all comes together. Like I said, all the airlines are all here. These are test ports so that you can actually test when things have issues instead of having to unplug things. They've got the air dryer inside here already. They've got all kinds of stuff is starting to come together. Lots of airlines. Oil power steering tank right there. I'm just like pretending I know what I'm talking about a little bit. I mean, I do know a little bit, but not enough. Lots of other air valves going on here. Wow. Okay, lots of other air valves mounted inside the frame here. Modules. I think a lot of these have to do with like the ABS systems and things like that. Yeah, EBS, electronic braking systems. So all kinds of modules have been added since I've seen the frame last. So it's about to move to another section where a lot of people are going to get their hands on this thing. So in these next steps, we've got an entire wiring harness that's prefab from another part of the factory where it's been made specifically for this chassis. This thing's going to get laid out front to back. Everything has its own home. There's lots of brackets built into this wiring harness where everything sits in perfectly, as you see it just snap into place there at the front. Moving on to the back, like it winds up underneath the chassis, goes inside, and continues to make its way to the back. And there's all kinds of plugs, different modules, airlines, air valves built into that wiring harness. Up here in the front, we have a guy that's working on tying in the cab jack system with the cab locking system right there also. Inside the frame here, you can see where that wire harness tucked up inside is going to go all along inside there with like all these brackets to hold everything right in its place. Some of the wiring harness will kind of drag along the ground as the frame is moving, but it's in this protective like socks, I guess you could call them, right there to keep them from getting scratched up or damaged. But right here from the front, lots of things happening. There's a book here that there's any discrepancies in the assembly, they're wrote inside that book, and then once they're fixed, they're checked off so that they can, you know, fix future issues on other frames that could come down the line. But right here we've got almost 8 people going all in to get this frame continuing down the line, because some frames require a little bit of wiring, some require a lot, but they each have the same amount of time to complete the tasks on every frame of every truck, no matter whether it has 1 axle or 8 axles. So the more axles you add, the more electronics and the more piping, more fuses, as this guy's tightening up right here in this box at this very moment. Okay guys, I'm here with Jukka.
Yeah.
On the assembly line. We've got the frame has moved down quite a bit. So what are we doing right here? I hear this is like one of the most difficult steps, all the piping.
Yeah, we are assembling the brake pipes.
So these are all labeled with special letters and numbers.
Yeah,
and
sure.
They all have their own spice.
Yeah.
So maybe I can follow along and see what you're doing here.
I'm actually on this position.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that one has a special code on it that tells us where it goes.
That's true.
And then this one, does that one just kind of hang for now until it finds something
Yeah, they
else?
will connect it later.
Ah, okay, okay.
Yeah.
All right, well, I'm going to follow you and see what you're doing here.
Okay. Jag skulle följa med.
So this is something you do every day, so you kind of have an idea of where everything goes.
Yeah, exactly.
So we have to be careful not to get in his way too much, because we have a countdown timer up here that's telling us when we can and can't go and when we can and cannot stop. Okay. So that's our battery disconnect there, it looks like.
That's correct.
So how long have you been here on the assembly line?
14 years.
14 years?
Yeah.
Wow. So you know what you're doing?
Kind of.
So this is an air test port, exhaust fill. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Battery
they
shut off.
The air to the whole truck.
Oh, okay. So you can air the whole truck up from right there.
Yeah, exactly.
Ah, okay.
That's
so this is the battery disconnect.
That's true.
Okay.
We call it the master switch.
Yeah, okay. Master switch for the whole chassis.
Yes.
So lots of piping going in the truck right now. That's what's going on right here, and then it moves to the next assembly line. They're double checking more piping, so. Well, thanks for showing us everything.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, so I'm here with, all right, I'm gonna try to, I'm really bad. Martin.
Yeah.
Martin?
Martin.
Martin, okay.
Yeah.
And you are the, what's your role here at the plant?
Yeah, I'm a product engineer for
Okay.
special order vehicles.
Which is coincidentally what we have.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
because it has the lift axle on the rear, which we're
Exactly.
gonna get into that very, very soon, and it has the SC23 cab is what they call it.
Exactly, the
So
23, the best cab in the world.
Yes, the 2.3 meter cab, which is made in Luxo. So right here on this clock behind us is a countdown, so in less than 2 minutes, these frames are gonna move once again. If
Yeah.
there's no hiccups.
No hiccups. And the quality so far is outstanding.
Top notch,
No
yeah.
deviations.
Very happy with it. I just wanted to say thank you on camera for being our tour guide today.
Yeah, thanks a lot. I mean,
Yeah.
it's nice to have you here.
For sure, for sure.
We're proud of our product, for sure.
I'm very happy with what I see.
Yeah, yeah.
Very top notch. Okay, well we've got some more. You see this clock counting down, guys. It's about to move again to the next station. All right, we're moving further down the assembly line here. Big things are happening. So this may be the last place we go to today because it's going to stop for today. Everybody cuts out of here at 4 o'clock. So this may be the last station our chassis gets to, and we'll be back up here tomorrow morning to see it completely finish and roll out the door. We have to be here at 7 a.m. So they're going to finish doing some piping on this chassis right here. All these pipes, so many airlines to go to so many different things. All these different modules have a lot to do with this being a 6x4. I decided to have the rear axle lift up, and it still be a drive axle, but it can lift up when not being used. So these different modules and air valves here control all of that. So that's why there's a lot more air pipes inside of this frame to make all that work. So this is something that we do not have in the USA. So have a front drive axle and a rear drive axle, and the rear drive axle will actually pick up when not being used, but still be able to drop down and drive when needed. So I wanted to make sure we got that on this truck to showcase something that we do not have in the USA. Up here on the front of the chassis, a lot of things have changed. So we've got, it looks like some kind of a air valve right here that goes to the brakes. So I would assume this is like an ABS valve, some kind. Wabco, very common brand in the USA. Front air ride, they've got the airbags piped into place now. Lots of hoses here in the front going on. So lots more things have been added to the chassis on these last few stages I've kind of missed. So hope I'm not boring you guys too much with all of the details, but I figured this is going to be your only chance to see a Scania get built from the ground up. At least the one that's going to the US. Well guys, one of the other people attending the trip with us today is Jorg with Scania USA, which we're going to be doing lots of things together in the near future, right? I mean, that's the plan.
That's the plan, Bruce. I'm happy to be here with you today.
Yes.
Happy to join you and see how the truck is growing.
Yes.
We have really seen a lot today.
Yep.
I'm happy to see that it's going forward. And in not too far future, we will have this truck in the US.
Yep.
And the next step is to make a proper handover to you.
Yeah.
And then you can demo it.
And then we're going to be driving it to the Scania headquarters in...
Yeah, that's in San Antonio, Texas.
Yes, so that's super exciting. A lot of this is not possible without Scania USA, so wanted to point that out. Other than home base here in Sototelia, also Scania USA helping make all this happen. So if you guys didn't know, Scania USA handles marine applications,
Marine
gensets,
engines, diesel engines, and industrial applications with diesel engines.
So so sorry to interrupt you, but yeah, that's, you know, Scania USA helped organize our boat trip yesterday. If you didn't see that video, you should go check it out. Our latest video, we got to ride on the boat with the twin 1150 horsepower Scania V8s and the 400 horsepower electric hybrid systems. So really cool video. Check that out. It was in the last video. I'll make sure to link it down below, guys. But we're gonna miss you tomorrow. You're heading home.
I have to go home. Work's waiting for me.
Yes.
But I'll see you later.
All right, well, make sure you watch the whole video of the truck completed for sure.
Yep.
Well, guys, that's a wrap for day one on our chassis R770 that's headed to the USA. There will be a part 2 if I don't just go ahead and post this video. then we'll be continuing on tomorrow. So let's see what we can get into this evening. All right, guys, we got some bonus footage on this video. We found the engine down the line here where they mate the engine and transmission together, and here they are. We've got the 770 horsepower Big Daddy V8 retarder on the transmission. Check that out. This is the one going in our truck. Very cool. So the digits right here are the last 4 digits of the VIN number, so that's what you see there. Wow, this is really cool, getting to see this up close and in person. We just missed where they brought the two together. Like, we just barely missed it, so, but that's okay. We get to see them all together right here in person. So this is what our engine looks like out of the truck. And then it's gonna go down here, find its way onto a truck, and it goes up into the ceiling, travels across the factory, and then drops back down in the truck eventually. So really cool. All right, guys, and now that it's got quiet in the shop, I wanted to talk to you about a few things on this chassis. So we've seen how beautiful the paint is, right? So these chassis are actually powder coated from the factory, which is what you see back here on this gray paint, which is the standard, oh, I say paint, this gray color, which is a standard powder coat, right? So when you order a chassis you want painted, they powder coat it still, and then they paint over the powder coat to have even further rust protection. And every single connector on this thing has a crazy good seal on it. I mean, everything is just thought about. All the connectors, I mean, all the airlines, everything has its perfect exact spot. There is no, okay, we've got a bunch of extra airlines, we're not gonna name another manufacturer, and we're just gonna roll it all up. Or we have a bunch of extra wiring, let's just roll it all up. Every piece of wire, every airline has its exact spot that it goes to, so that there's no excess crap just hanging everywhere. Everything has a home, everything's just engineered. I know a lot of people don't like hearing that, but I mean, that's the difference between something that's Swedish engineered and made and something that, I'm just not gonna go there, but I mean, big differences on everything being made. I love that the frames are painted, and then everything comes in here, gets installed, so we don't have like things being painted over. You can read the codes on these airlines, so that, say you had a bad airline go bad, you can either replace it with a simple piece of airline, or you can call Scania and give them these numbers, and they'll send you the perfect length of airline that you need. So I mean, there's all different ways of sourcing parts of these trucks. We did order it with a battery disconnect, so it's got that right there, which is the master switch for the whole entire chassis. And then this right here is an airline, an air fill, so you can hook up right here and fill the entire chassis full of air, which is, I think, really, really cool. And these are other air test ports, I believe, that you can hook air to and relieve or engage air pressure and things like that. That'll be installed at a later date. You know, just lots of engineering going on inside the chassis of this thing. So still has a leaf spring in the front here, and it's got tracking arms right here that keep everything nice and straight. So the leaf springs are more or less there to keep the side-to-side movement where it's supposed to go, and then it has the tracking arm there to keep everything perfectly straight. So once we get the chassis moved down the line, it gets the axles and everything else that's going to go in it. You'll see shortly. It's all going to go under here and fall right into place. And each side has its own air leveling valve right there, which you see right there. So I just love how organized everything is. Everything has its home. It's not just randomly put in all these crazy places. Just very nicely done. Air dryer filter right there, super easy to get to and replace. Lots of air valves. I'm not sure what all these things do, but everything has a home and it's right where it's supposed to go. So these are like the main body harnesses there. So they put all of the wiring harness and all the airlines up here on this one route. Some of the stuff is zip tied up because it still has to be plugged in elsewhere. So there's nothing on that side, kind of like our 4 Series had all the airlines on that side. That took up a lot of space on it. So I think this is a really big deal, guys. And I hope you all can understand the effort that has went into accomplishing this. Myself teaming up with Scania. And like I said at the beginning of the video, and it's not something I legally have to say, but just making it factual that I don't own the truck. It's being sent to the USA. I'm going to be an agent of the company, and we're going to get to enjoy it, make some content with it, and make it a media truck. It's very common that companies in the US, auto manufacturers, send vehicles out for influencers and people to make content with, and that's what we're going to be doing with this truck, while at the same time doing some real-world testing, weighing it, doing mile-per-gallon testing. We're going to find a dyno, all kinds of things I have planned. We're going to be taking it to truck shows, doing all these crazy things with this truck next year or later this year when we do receive it. We're still have some paperwork pending. We have to get through that. That's just the reality of the situation. But we have to have a truck built before we can finish sending all the paperwork in to get this thing to the USA. And as more details come, I'll share them with you. Just know that I appreciate everyone's support in helping to make this happen. Everyone at Scania USA, Scania here in Södertälje at headquarters, Matthias, Jorg that you just met with Scania USA, and a lot of other attorneys and other really cool people that have helped to make this thing possible. So yeah, maybe this will be a part 1 of part 2. So make sure you guys tune in to the next video. Make sure you smash the like button, subscribe if you're new around here, and be watching, because in the next video, this thing's gonna be driving off the assembly line, hitting a dyno, and then on the following week, we're gonna be taking it to the test track, having our way with it, getting to drive it, and do all kinds of other really, really cool things with the truck. So enough talking. Hope you all watched the entire video. It is an R770 with the 2.3 meter cab. It's gonna be sick. 770 horsepower V8, guys. It's gonna be nuts. It's gonna break the trucking world. Hope you all are excited. Comment down below. We're gonna have to name this truck eventually, so if anyone has any excitement, definitely let me know.